Welcome back to the Diamond Breakfast. Now, police have forwarded the case in which late National Democratic Congress party member Obed Kasongo died after he was allegedly assaulted to the National Prosecutions Authority for a possible inquest. So what we look at now is a PF member who is also former NDC President Chimweka maintaining that the late National Democratic Congress youth chairperson Obed Kasongo died of malaria and not from an assault as it was alleged a few years ago. So we look briefly at this issue and generally looking at all things how the political space is and the difference from then and now. Joining us for this is the National Democratic Congress party president leading one of the factions, George Strula. Good morning and welcome to the Diamond Breakfast.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
When we hear this case of Obed Kasongo coming up and it being forwarded to the National Prosecutions Authority, we know that it's going to undergo the legal redress here. But we've also heard from the former president of the party, Dr. Kambwili, speaking out on it. What's your take on this conversation that's come up again?
Okay, to start with, I want to take this opportunity to thank the Diamond TV for featuring me on this program. I'm very excited. I want to mention that this is purely a very good move. Kasongo had a wife and children and a family who are emotionally connected to him. And it's just important that the police must look at this important case. I've actually monitored the way comments have been coming on social media regarding the same case. And today, my brother, social media is a force to reckon with. And when you hear people talk the way they are talking, it means they are very much interested in the matter. Yeah, so for me as a president of NDC, I'm very, very happy that finally the case has been taken. Yeah, so that we see what really happened. Because all of us have an idea of what happened. Of course, I'm not here to qualify Lusambo as a murderer, as it has been pronounced, until we wait for the court to try the people that were involved, yeah, so that the matter is put to rest once and for all. And I can tell you, my brother, it is even good for Aboman Lusambo to be tried, because as long as he is not taken to court, he will be moving with a tag of a murderer wherever he goes. So it is important that we should free the man. Let the court look at the matter and also inform the nation of what happened. And again, I will tell you, it will be a lesson even to the PF people. It will be a lesson to the people that usually perpetuate violence. You saw what happened in, under PF, okay? Cadaism, it was free for all. Cadres had too much authority on the Zambian people. Cadres could even instruct police officers. They could demote and promote. They became almighty. They became so powerful. And obviously, what happened to Kasongo was unable to be taken seriously by police because the people that were involved were the PF. And the big names were mentioned, like Honorable Bowman Lusambo, who was a minister by then, and he could not be arrested by police because they were afraid, And it's good that he's out of power, and the police and, the powers that be will be able to look at the matter evenly and tell the nation of
What do you think this also says in the confidence in our systems, even within our health system? Because what was said is from the postmortem is that this was due to malaria, severe malaria, and also due to hypertension. But despite this, there seems to be mistrust from some sections of society.
Yes, I totally agree with you on that one. Under PF regime, all the systems were corrupt. And people had lost confidence. in the judiciary. People lost confidence in the police. They couldn't work professionally. And that's what scared the Zambian people. And we are just hoping that under this government will be able to put the systems in place so that the Zambian people can have confidence in the systems. We could hear people complain about police not acting professionally, and it's something that I even witnessed. I can give you an example. Few days before elections, I was with President Haka in the Ichlema on the Copper Belt. On a particular Sunday, we decided to go to church. On the way, the police intercepted us and they started tear gassing on us, and it was so bad. I remember going back to the guest house, the president asked me, Yasichula, because I come from Chingola. So he said, why are police doing this? I said, Mr. President, I don't know where they are getting the authority from. I waited until we formed the government. I went back to meet the police officers. Can you tell me the truth? I saw the president being traumatized on that day. So tell me what happened. Who told you? And they told me that the ones who instructed them to tear gas the president was the PF members, and the names were mentioned. So from there, from that, you can see that people were compromised. People were receiving instructions from politicians, which is not supposed to be the case. We expect the police to work professionally. We expect police, everyone to work professionally. Even the courts must work independently and professionally. That's what we need as a nation. Not where you are getting instructions from, politicians here and there. No, let the systems work independently. That's when the Zambian people will have confidence.
I know you've not mentioned any names here, but I mean that's something that would have to be proven still. But let's look at the other side of this. We have the man here who brought this up to the police's attention, and that's Dr. Kamwiri. And at the time when this was being brought up, the whole discussion was around it being allegedly assault. But this is a man who's come out now from his briefing yesterday, maintaining that, well, he's going to respect what was said, which was that it was out of severe malaria and hypertension. It brings up the conversation of politicians as well, especially when you're in the opposition, trying to portray a certain image of the ruling party and bring down their name, and certain accusations are made. And we've seen politicians who've said things while in the opposition, when they joined the ruling party, have been open saying, well, it was mere politicking. How can we believe also that from this whole conversation now, politicians are not just politicizing this whole situation?
You see, in politics, integrity is everything. Integrity is very important. Even the Bible talks about integrity. It's a very, very important component, especially as a leader. Yes, we are also shocked the confusion surrounding the death of Obed Kasongo. We are told the pathologist gave us such results that what killed him was malaria. As we know what killed Kasongo, and we expect the courts, we expect justice to prevail regarding this matter. Okay, the reason why Dr. Chimweka is coming out like that is because of the results of the pathologist. Okay, it brings us back to where you talked about the system. Okay, so for him to say something else, and that's why it's important that we should do a post-mortem. Even if he's in the grave, we can go back and do a post-mortem because people are interested in the case, the Zambian people. Yeah, so I feel the government must pay attention to this case. Do a post-mortem so that we are giving proper results of what killed Kasongo. And that's when it is going to be put to rest. The way it is, we don't trust those results of malaria. The truth of the matter is the man was beaten. And it is very true what Dr. Chishimba Kambwili said. If I recall very well, he even said it in Bemba, to say Bowman ali mupumaula kumutwe kumuchenaula. That message, we have it, and it is all over social media. So it's just important that we must pay attention to this case, follow it, steadily, so that at the end of the day, results are given to the family and also announced to the nation, so that it is put to rest once and for all. And it's good for Bowman Lusambo at the end of the day, because you never know what can happen to him. The family is angry.
When we look at systems, I mean, they're inherited. Governments come in, governments go out. We're looking at these systems continuing. And if people can believe that they can be manipulated before, what do you think needs to be done to restore confidence now? And this goes beyond this situation, but generally systems of government now. And we're talking about lack of interference from politicians.
Yeah, that's very true. I will tell you that me personally, I have confidence in the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND government, because they are paying so much attention on the systems of government. You've seen what they are doing in the procurement departments, because they know something has been going on there. You've seen what they are doing with the judiciary. Okay, a lot has happened, because our friends were smart enough before they left power. We could see them swearing in, judges to prepare for what will happen now. You've seen the way ACCA is struggling to carpet some of these guys because they are using the system. And I want to tell you that this government is equal to the task. They are working day and night to make sure that the system is fixed everywhere. I think that's what will help us. It may not be done in a shorter period. It's a long-term thing. Time after time, you see adjustments being made here and there, and eventually we'll perfect the system.
But do you think with our current constitution that is possible, to have independent systems, independent organs of government operating? I mean, if you look at, for example, investigative wings, you have people at the top leading these investigative wings appointed by the president. We have a police service where the inspector general is appointed by the president. Do you think our current laws allow for people to believe we have independence within some of these systems?
I tell you, in Africa, it has always been critical when it comes to separation of power. Most countries usually interfere in these wings of governments. I have seen it because I've worked in government also for some time. Let me mention to you that I'm a former district commissioner of Chingola and also Iteshteji. We have seen it so many times where interferences are made here and there. Someone can sit at the court, but there is a politician that is interfering in the judgment. Okay? Someone can be at police, but there is a directive from a politician going there. Yeah, so I think we need, in Africa, not only in Zambia, we must work towards separation of power. The executive must never interfere in the judiciary or legislature. I think that's the way to go. And I can confidently say that we are working towards that, though we haven't attained that yet. I'm sure you've seen that the UPND government is struggling so much to work on the system to put, nuts and bolts to ensure that we come up with a good system. And of course, I'll tell you that even in the executive there, we still have some shocks we need to work on. Yeah, talk of legislature, we still have some problems there. We need to work on that. And our friends, the PF, were clever enough. I will tell you that most of these people who are controlling the system are not even UPND people. They are PF people. Go to police, you find quite a number of cadres, okay, who are police officers today. So to change a system there, it may not take now.
But do you think it's right? I mean, to call them PF people, identify them by a previous political party when generally that's how government works. You have members in the system who will stay because maybe they're technocrats, they're professionals, and they have to be there and have to be loyal to the government of the day. I mean, there are also people who've been working even before the Patriotic Front and are still in the government now because they are technocrats or professionals. But do you think it's right to identify them by a political party, maybe that the time they came in the government?
You see, that's why you have seen that His Excellency has avoided employing cadres in offices, because he's trying to avoid a repetition of what we saw under PF. Under PF...
Others would argue to that, Mr. Strula, when you talk about cadres and party supporters and those going into government. Others would argue, based off what they've also seen, whether it's permanent secretary level, they'll not agree with you.
Yeah, that's very true. It's not everyone who is a cadre who can, who cannot qualify for a job. I've seen quite a number of cadres who are qualified. Some are lawyers, some are accountants. Of course, they are fit for a job as well. Yeah, but what we are saying, it was too much of PF. I will tell you, my brother, that there are people who were working for ZESCO, working for NAPSA, working for RDA, working for, getting into the army. The guys were taken from the PF and had no qualifications. I can prove that to you. It is something that we saw. And that's what brought confusions in the systems. Go to police today. A lot of cadres from the PF, So where do they take their loyalty? Is with the PF. They'll take it to PF, and that's where the problem is. But if we can employ guys who are professionals, they will help the system to act professionally.
By being loyal to the government of the day.
By being loyal to the government of the day, not politicians.
And if a new government comes through, won't they also start accusing them of being too loyal to the previous governing political party?
It's just important that people that are working in government must be loyal to the government of the day. Whether you used to be PF or UPND, whichever political party, it's important to maintain loyalty to the government of the day. And anyone that is perceived to be fighting the government of the day, it's better to uproot them out of government, because they will be frustrating the system. Yeah.
Mr. Strula, thank you so much for joining us on the Diamond Breakfast today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We've been joined by faction leader of the National Democratic Congress in George Strula, looking at violence within political parties, or inter-party violence, actually, and making brief reference to a briefing yesterday that was held by Dr. Kamwili, where he also addressed a matter that has been arising around Obed Kasongo, which the Zambia Police Service have made clear that has been forwarded to the National Prosecutions Authority, and will continue updating you on that. When we get back, we'll be having a look at our travel guide and more as we build on to 8 in the morning, where the rest of the team takes up to 9:30. We'll be right back.